Hello, Judith.
Hey, Sonya.
Welcome to the Coach's Cup. I am Sonya Green from Sonya Green Coaching.
And I am No BS coach Judith Fender, one of the amazing coaches with the No BS weight loss program.
And today we are talking about waiting for the perfect time.
What? There's the perfect time? Sonya, how did I miss this memo?
I know, exactly. There is not a perfect. Let me just ruin it for you. But we realized that this podcast is going to drop 6 weeks, right at 6 weeks before the new year. And the new year is that magical time, right?
Mm-hmm. Is this like November 20th? That happens to be my birthday, by the way.
I know it's right. I think it drops. Your birthday is on a weekend this year because I think it drops on the 17th ish.
Okay.
So right about that magical time.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was going to say, I have a goal. Maybe I'll be jumping out of an airplane that weekend. We'll see.
We hope that we are here next week with another podcast.
We need a backup coach, y'all.
We'll get a backup plan for next week. Ooh, that makes me a little nervous.
I was hiking the other day on my Bear Wallow Mountain up there with the fire tar. And it was a beautiful sunset. I mean, it was just gorgeous. And there was a couple in a photo shoot and, because it's just lovely up there. And I had earpods in and and it was windy, but something just caught my eye and I looked up and I could tell it was someone coming down in a parachute. And my heart, I was like, wow, he has been dropped off out of an airplane and he's going to land here. Cause it's the top of the mountain is green. Like it's just a giant green pasture up there. It'd be very easy I've seen it when I've flown into the airport. Long story short, it had a motor on it. It looked like, one of those giant shop fans on the back of it. So here's my thoughts. This has to be way better than jumping out of an airplane because if you jump out of an airplane, you don't know that parachute's going to open. And then it's just too late. But
if you're dropped out with a big fan on your back,
no,
really fast and you don't know that you've died.
No, you're not going to get off the ground, right? If that parachute with you're going to be on the ground with that big fan. I'm sure it was more than a fan. I keep calling it a fan. It wasn't much of a motor, but he was having the best time. He was just,
oh my goodness,
floating around up there, and that's going to be me.
Well, I'm not going to watch.
That made my day. I got to share that story. It was so cool.
Oh goodness. Well, all right. Anyway, I hope that we are producing further podcasts after the first year. But back to waiting for the perfect time. I will tell you the perfect time will never happen for me to jump out of an airplane. Well, the perfect time will be when the airplane is going down and I have no other choice.
But listen, those coffee mugs for those reviews we're getting, y'all, those could be valuable things.
Hold on. So get your reviews in, folks, because
get your collectibles.
Just Judy may be on her way out. That is terrible. I'm not even.
I know. Oh,
okay.
We're rolling
right.
with it.
Back to the show, folks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks till the new year. I'm a little sick at my stomach.
No.
Okay. So, other than the fact that you might die before the new year.
On that note, goal setting sounds way much more fun.
It does. We want to talk about why you don't need to wait for the new year.
Yeah.
To set some goals and start living your life.
Yeah.
Oh, me. Okay. I'm trying to pull it back in, Judith.
Right. Yeah. So why, Sonya? What is the problem? Why wait?
Yeah. Why? Well, we have we have 4 different reasons that you shouldn't wait. We are going to convince you in 4 reasons or less. But the first one is that goals don't happen on a calendar, right? Real goals that we set for ourselves, they don't just magically, let's say, fill up that year, right? No goal is made because it's 365 days long. So why should we need to start it on the first day of the year?
Right. My brain immediately went to thinking about like people with perfectionism who want to start with a fresh
Yes.
calendar or a new planner or want a clean spiral, all of those things. Like it sounds so dreamy and amazing
And perfect.
and perfect, right? It's going to hit all those boxes. But just like what you were saying, it's not linear and we're not going to show up just because the year passes having the goal attained. We can start now.
Yeah. We were talking about this when we were pre-gaming, and I asked you, I said, what if you had a coaching client who came to you and said, things really hadn't been going great this year, but it's good because come January 1st, I am on it. What would you say to them, Judith?
Yeah. So what's different about you on January 1st that you can't muster up today? Right.
Yeah.
You've got to start practicing becoming that version of yourself today.
This kind of reminded me of Mel Robbins. Her first book was The 5-Second Rule.
Mm-hmm.
And, she says you do that countdown to get out of bed. That's kind of what launched her as a coach. And the reason that works is because if you give yourself longer than that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, then your brain starts coming up with all the reasons why you shouldn't go after that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wait till the new year and give it 6 weeks, how many reasons are you going to have not to start it on January 1st?
It's a lot of time for a lot of storytelling.
It is. It is. And you know what? That goes well into the next point, which is if you start now, think of all the pressure you take off yourself.
Right. And the momentum you could gain.
Yes. Yes. How many, this is what I didn't look up. I looked it up last year when we talked about New Year's resolutions, and I don't remember, but there is a significant portion of the population who starts every new year with a resolution. Think of all the pressure. I mean, there are diet commercials on TV. There are, people trying to sell you planners. There's all this pressure that we add to the pressure we already have of trying to achieve our goal. If you wait till the new year, if you do it now, what's the worst that could happen?
Crickets. I'm Googling how many Americans start New Year's resolutions. About 164 million adult Americans say they're determined to learn something new, make a lifestyle change, or set a personal goal in an effort to better themselves.
Yeah. But that's a lot of pressure we as a society put on ourselves. And the worst thing that can happen if you set a goal and start working on it today, what is it?
The worst thing that's going to happen?
The worst thing. Yeah.
That you're going to get some distress tolerance in, some failure tolerance.
Yeah.
You get some reps in.
Yes, that's the worst that can happen. We often as coaches take people to that worst case scenario to try to get them to understand that the worst case is not ever as bad as they think it's going to be. What if you could get really good at your failure tolerance in those 6 weeks?
Right.
Build that muscle. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't, folks, because I think it goes well with this idea.
It does. It really does.
And like you were just saying, you can do a whole lot in 6 weeks.
If you just, what could we do in 6 weeks, Sonia? What if you
If,
went to bed 5 minutes earlier every night, or 1 minute earlier every night if you were trying to, or walk for 1 minute? Where would you be in 6 weeks? If you
yeah.
do those small, doable goals that would have you that much closer to where you want to be come January 1st.
Yeah. If you start I don't think that this is still the wisdom, but I know years ago, the wisdom was if you do anything for 21 days, it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm. I think it's 66.
66 days. Well, 6 weeks, you're looking at what, 42 days?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So you are well into building some habits that you could have, on almost on lock by then. If you just start today instead of putting it off till, that magic date.
I love that. I really do. I'm just sitting here listening to you. I'm even thinking about the possibility. We can create so much in our lives if we just lean into and let go of perfectionism, procrastination, resistance, whatever it is going on, folks.
Yeah. And that, I think about trajectories and building momentum. And we see the end of the year as kind of a downward, sliding into that new clean year. We've got the whole idea of the old year is an old man and it's baby new year. Which is, I don't know. Yeah, you're going to start Googling where that came from, aren't you? But what if you took today to review where you've been this year? What if today you reviewed your year with all but 6 weeks taken and decided, hey, this is what I've accomplished this year. Because I am sure that you have accomplished things this year, but this is where I really want to go. If you start that now and you start building in those reps
to get some rip muscles.
I'm thinking about you ripping that cord is what it is. And start building your failure tolerance. Then you are starting the year already having moved up, having on the upswing of that trajectory.
It's all in what you want to make it mean, right? I mean,
yes.
What I hear you saying is that, it's so, we've been indoctrinated with modern culture, or really the Babylonians. So I did a quick history search, and since 4,000 years ago kind of started this whole New Year's resolution thing. And what was it? I said, Methodism.
John Wesley had something to do with it.
Something to do with, the repenting of past sins. Anyway.
Right. Well, and that's, that goes back to the Jewish New Year. They would always roll the sins forward and move those forward.
Which is interesting. I do like the cycle idea, but here's the thing. You can start the cycle today. Why not today? Who says it has to be January 1st?
Yeah.
Just shift up that mindset. And because tomorrow, if you're running that model for yourself, you know that tomorrow just gets kicked down the road. Just start today, right now.
Yeah. Even though, New Year's is a very targeted date, tomorrow is not.
Correct.
So now is always the best time. And I really, I like to think about ending it moving up, I guess, because with the seasons changing and the nights getting longer, it's darker out there. That kind of swings me down. And so this kind of moves my energy level up. If I'm thinking about new goals now, it gives me a push of energy.
Yeah. So you don't feel a drop, you feel a steadiness.
Yeah. But the fourth, and what I think is the best reason for us to start our goals now instead of waiting. How many people did you say? How many millions of people start working on New Year's resolutions?
164 million adults.
And how many of those actually achieve their New Year's resolutions?
That would be 9.2%.
Yeah, not 90.2, 9.2% actually achieve those goals. So by setting yourself up with a New Year's resolution, the odds are against you that you're even going to achieve it.
Right.
Which to me is the biggest reason not to even consider setting New Year's resolutions. And it's for the reasons that we've talked about. People put a lot of pressure on themselves. They start out of the gate. Oh, it's a new year. It's baby new year. But then because they haven't really built up the reasons that they want to set those goals, they've made them maybe too lofty. That's another thing that we haven't even mentioned. Many times. Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, about mentioning the SMART goals, right?
Yes.
SMART being the acronym for specific, measurable, achievable. What is the R? Relevant,
yeah.
Time bound. So you want to be able to, measure this goal so that you can hit it. It needs to be really specific, unique to you. I will do, back to weight loss, 30 days of plans and assessments, things like that. I will drink 64 ounces of water every day. Things that you can measure.
Yes, I will sleep. And sleep is a great one, whether it's weight loss or just your personal development in general. Listen, I will sleep 7 to 9 hours per night.
By the way, little bunny trail here. Did you hear Andrew's new podcast on sleep?
I have not.
With the I don't know his name, but he has a very thick accent. It was really interesting. Just more information about orange light and blue light, circadian rhythm, talking about whether a lot of evolutionary talk. It's just it's very compelling. I think if I could go back and specialize in anything, I think I might want to be specialized in sleep. I want to figure this out.
We should talk about that some podcasts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should. But folks, I don't know what else we could say to convince you, but I will quickly. I do want to back up just a minute because you're talking about SMART goals. One of the reasons that New Year's resolutions fail is because what are some of the most common New Year's resolutions?
Oh, weight loss, go to the gym, put the phone down. There were health goals. I don't have it pulled up now.
They're all usually vague.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or too lofty. That's what you were saying.
Or too, yes.
Well, you need to, you just don't jump right in. You got to get your toes in the water and start getting those reps in, like we're talking about, and building up your practice to get there.
Yeah. So, what can I do today? What goal can I set for myself today that I can manage every day for the next 42 days? It doesn't have to be, I'm going to end the year 50 pounds lighter than I was. In fact, I would strongly encourage you not to make that your goal. But what is one small thing I can do? Like you said, go to bed 10 minutes earlier every night. Yeah.
Well, that would add up, but that with the compound effect on that in 42 days would have your circadian rhythm messed up.
Well, I mean 10 minutes earlier than you're doing right now. Put away that phone, put that phone down.
Oh, I thought you meant 10 minutes earlier every night.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, no. That's why I was going.
No. Compound effect. You'd be sleeping all
I'm all in. I'm calling it my second sleep now. Yeah. My second sleep is from 5 to 7 a.m. right now.
You could get a second sleep habit. But the point is that this is the time to start. Don't let yourself don't talk yourself out of change. It's easy to do. Start it today. Go over the SMART goals again.
So they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what habit can I start instituting today? And I love the whole concept of habit stacking. I've several people, I think, yeah.
James Clear.
Thank you, James
I'm
Clear.
like, let me read your mind.
James Clear really started it, but a lot of people talk about that right now because it's so helpful. So what can I do that, if you want to journal, I strongly encourage you to start a journaling practice. What can I do every day that's going to help me remember to do that? Maybe every morning you make coffee and then you set 10 minutes to journal after that. So you leave your journal by your coffee maker.
My favorite story, and I'll take a minute here. My boss, MJ. I have never broken a habit down the way that she did. But when she was never an exerciser. And so James Clear mentions this in the book. He talks about someone who wants to start a running habit and how at first they like put the shoes by the door.
Yeah.
And then next week they just put the clothes on. And that's what she did. She like put her clothes on and then went and sat and drank her coffee, sat down on the couch. And then was like walking around all this to say, and built for herself not only an incredible health routine, but love of exercise that's still going today.
Yeah. And we convince ourselves that's just too simple.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people tell me, well, Sonya, it's too easy to do it like that. That's not real. It's too easy. Well, could you give it a shot?
Right. And that's just it. It needs to be so doable that your brain goes, oh, well, of course I could do that, but I'm not. But then the answer is like, but I'm not going to do that. That's too easy. Let me bump it up.
Right.
And then when you start bumping it up, you get into trouble.
Yes. Yes. So start today, break it down. I mean, if you wanted to create a running habit like she did, then by the time you get to 6 weeks from now in the new year, where would you be?
Right. I mean, if it was to join a gym, he breaks the habit down. He talks about if, the same habit of stacking it and sitting on the couch, getting the clothes on, whatnot, getting in the car, then just actually, once you get to the car and start driving to the gym, you're like, well, I'm here. But for 1 week, you don't have to work out. But then by the time you get there, you're like, well, since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and work out.
Yeah.
Why not? Because the hard part's getting there.
Yes. Yes.
It
really, I mean, it really is. How many times I have done that myself. Well, I'm here. I'm not turning around and going back now.
Same.
Yeah. All right. Any last minute nuggets you want to leave our listeners with, Judith?
I'll be here next week.
I am counting on it, sister. I am counting on it.
Yeah. Well, it sounds, I don't know. We'll see. It's just,
we're going to kick off an amazing new year in 6 weeks because we are pre-planning for it right now.
We got it on the calendar.
Yeah. And I mean, even planning, that's a big goal that people say that they're going to start working on. So look at where you're going to be. I'm excited because we're all going to have some wins under our belt to start the new year.
I started a little productivity masterclass today myself. Like I'm looking forward to creating more time for myself and increasing my productivity. And I am not waiting till the new year. Nope. And it's 9 weeks to the new year right now.
Yeah. We're about 3 weeks ahead of dropping this. Yeah. All right. Okay. Anything else?
Oh, well, you know what? We would love it if you would give us a 5-star review.
Yes, we
have
would.
These amazing coffee mugs that we are just, and I think this might be the last week that we'll be gifting them out. And I don't know.
We got one more week.
One more week.
Yeah.
So drop a comment on the iTunes, not just a star, give us a star and a comment. Be sure and so we can call your name out some way. Make sure you let us know that was you.
Yeah.
Share our podcast with a friend. Keep us going. We'd love to get that coffee mug to you. Like I said, it could be a collectible one day.
We are not going there. We are not. But
or find it in the Goodwill one day. Be like, look at our mug.
Well, and we've sent them from coast to coast. They've gone so far from Raleigh, North Carolina to Seattle, Washington. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So you international folks, because we know you're listening too. I don't care. We'll ship it internationally if they give us a review and we call their name. We'll absolutely do that.
Wait. Let's just call it out. You were saying that we had a pretty large base in Hong Kong. We want to know.
No, not a large base, but we have listeners in Hong Kong. Okay. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Know who you are. Show yourself.
Cool? All right, folks. We appreciate you so much all year long, and we appreciate you listening to us. We'll see you. I am confident we will see you next week.
Yes, agreed.